An ex-girlfriend of Andrew Tate named Bree Stern recently came out with some shocking allegations and screenshots of alleged text messages between the two of them, where Andrew Tate is allegedly, I could not say the word allegedly more than I'm saying it right now.
Only if you were Ian Carroll.
Allegedly, he is claiming to really enjoy hitting her. He's saying things like, "You are my property," just a lot of stuff like this. And Bree Stern came out with this Twitter thread alleging abuse and violence and threats against her from Andrew Tate. And she has filed a police report at this point, which is what you should do if you're making allegations of that kind.
Yep.
So respect that you're actually getting authorities involved. But she also decided to get social media involved.
Uh-oh.
And that's where the trouble comes in. So let's pull up that tweet where the very first photo is her with like smudged mascara. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. This is not a woman who is bleeding, bruised, or injured in any visible way. Just looks like she slept in her makeup. That's literally what this looks like. I don't know what she's trying to prove, but here's how she starts it. Quote, "You are my property. My name is Bree Stern. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I met Andrew Tate in the summer of 2024, and we were in a relationship for almost a year."
Okay, so before we even get started, there's just something very modern about the fact that you've got these extremely heinous and serious allegations, but you have like a hook at the top. Like,
yeah, the quote at the top.
Like that is like there's just something so prepped and prepared about it that it's just a kind of a commentary on the way things are now.
I completely agree. Yeah. And you know, girl, the red flags were there before you met Andrew Tate. But then as we go deeper into this thread, the red flags just keep on coming over and over and over. There's just more red flags and more red flags. And she expects us to not, you know, at least think you could have avoided this situation. I don't care about sounding like a victim blamer. I don't even know if she is a victim. She probably isn't. But even if she were, I would just think, like, there were signs. There were definitely signs, Bree.
I mean, do you think people will have that's going to kind of be a blanket statement for anyone that dates someone with that much of a reputation now? Like, they're going to say, like, how could you not know about those things beforehand? It's a horrible conversation to have, but it's at least something that's fair to ask.
Yeah, definitely. But there are plenty of women who will overlook that for self-serving reasons or because they have no self-respect. Or both. And then she follows this up with a tweet that pretty much proves to me she's using this as an opportunity to advertise her crypto coin. She has a crypto coin, which is immediately plugged in the thread, called Sister.
Yeah.
She says, "We met because Andrew Tate needed models for his crypto coin and promised to help me save my crypto coin, Sister. We spent as much time together as we could, but when we weren't physically together, we were in communication all day, every day." I can't believe he has the time, right?
Yeah.
To be messaging chicks.
What do you
I thought
think
he was
does?
like an entrepreneur. He's busy. He's booked.
He's not busy.
He's in the war room. He's
literally
brainstorming. He's
just
masterminding.
Masterminding.
He's just making YouTube videos or videos that go behind the paywall on his war room thing.
I guess he's just not like on the grind set like we thought he was.
No, it's just that when you've mastered it to that level, you can multitask.
He has the mind of a
He's kind of like
mastermind.
Taskmaster.
Yeah.
In Marvel.
He was my best friend. I stood by his side unwaveringly. We made plans to live together, first in Romania and then in Miami once he traveled to America. He wanted to start a new life together once he arrived in the U.S. This sounds awfully familiar, according to legal filings in Dicot, where all these women who are allegedly trafficked by the Tate brothers say they were promised marriage and family and children and homes.
Ladies, if you are going to talk to Andrew Tate, you should really read what other women say about what Andrew Tate says to them.
It's like if there were Yelp reviews.
You know, exactly.
For a boyfriend, you know?
There's a comedy skit there somewhere.
No, there actually is a platform. I forget what it's called, but it's for reviews and ratings on men in like whatever city you're in. And
that's creepy.
Women who have like matched with them on Hinge or Tinder or whatever will give reviews for like how they acted. And
I mean, that's like insane.
Yeah, it is
like,
insane.
Like that's one of the few times, like, look, if you go and give a Yelp review for a restaurant, like I'm already going to question, like, were you a dick to the waiter and that's why your service was crap?
That's the kind of thing that would be in your review.
Yeah, but like with women doing it, I mean, I don't know if I buy 100% that it's, for every review that's bad for a guy, that it's 100% the guy's fault.
No, I don't think so either. But
I think
for someone like Andrew Tate, there is a lot out there. There's a lot of information out there. You can make your judgment, and she made the wrong one. So she goes on, Andrew told me he loved me every day, and I was very much in love with him. This is the thing. People think infatuation is the same thing as love.
It's also very easy to say and very hard to prove and show.
Yeah, especially because they weren't even together physically for the vast majority of this. Despite the fact that he has hurt me so badly, I still love him. Maybe that is Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know. She provides a screenshot of their messages here. Can you pull that up?
Yep.
She said, I'm glad you texted me. I was having anxiety. And then he says, you need to be hit. And she says, why? I don't like it. What did I do? And then he says, you deserve it. And she just asks why. We don't see the rest of the exchange.
Is there
here.
proof that this is a text between the two of them?
No, there's no proof that this is a text between them. No. That's the thing. But if it is cringe on both sides, it's like
a cringe on both your houses.
Yeah. It's like the Army Hammer text messages, which were real. I read those and I don't think like, wow, what a predator. I think like this guy is just turbo cringe. Like he thinks that he comes off like some kind of like alpha male because he's saying like he wants to barbecue your ribs. If I ever got a text message like that, I would just be like eye rolling into another galaxy.
You ever see
it's
those,
so performative.
You ever see those like Instagram skits of the guy who's like, he's like, you were 15 and your parents made you go to a barbecue and he's got the emo haircut and he sits like this? It's that basically.
It's like, do you think that women think that's cool? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like I would clock that immediately and disassociate.
I mean, technically, I think the success that they've had with the amount of women that are in their lives would say that it is successful and it does work and that you're the exception.
It's wild. Like, how do you not clock the inauthenticity of that, like, Chad, like, persona? Like, that's so repulsive.
That doesn't make it inauthentic. It just means that who they are is repulsive.
Yeah. She says, the last time I saw Andrew was on March 11th, 2025 at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Last words he said to me before I left the hotel were, shut the F up, bitch. You will never backtalk me. You are my property. In this screenshot, he says, if you're mine, why wouldn't I be able to hit you? And she says, you scared me with what you said. And he says, are you scared of me? And she says, physical violence for me is a huge no. I don't even like when you hit me during sex. It scares me. Due to events that had transpired in the early hours of that day, as well as his final degrading words, something clicked. I recognized that someone who truly loved me wouldn't say those things to me or hurt me repeatedly the way that he did.
Yeah.
What a eureka moment. I can't believe they're like, it's really sad. I mean, I don't know if she really fits the description, but there are a lot of women out there who just genuinely don't make the connection between men's behavior and like how trustworthy they are. Mm-hmm. They legitimately end up in these situations where they have no idea they're with a scumbag.
Yeah.
And usually they never learn.
Yeah.
I don't think that she's necessarily as naive as she wants us to believe, but there are women out there who are like that. So there's a seed of truth in it. And then in this other screenshot, he says, I want to beat the F out of you. You will give me a child this year, bitch. And she says, why do you want to beat me? And he says, what's the point in having you? If I don't beat you and impregnate you, you should be thankful.
Like, it's getting to a point now where it's starting to sound almost too comically over the top.
No, I know.
It's turning. Look, I that's not me saying
barbecuing your ribs also sounds comical and over the top, and that happened too.
But it's like we're entering into Reddit thread territory, like Reddit story territory.
Yeah,
and it's just look, it's 100% believable, but at the same time, if true, you've turned yourself into some type of weird parody of yourself.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like a woman with any actual self-respect or like brain cells, she couldn't end up in a situation like this where she legitimately thinks that this guy is like impressive. Because if he's trying that hard to seem tough, he clearly is overcompensating.
He's literally the
like
villain
deep insecurity.
He's the villain in the movie that they give you to allow you to be okay with the hero killing people. So literally when I was watching A Working Man, there's this scene where this Russian mob boss, like his wife is just there and he got home and he's like on his phone or something and she just says something and it annoys him. She says something else and kind of gets angry with him and he just hits her. And it's literally done because Jason Statham is about to come kill this dude. And it's like and you have to justify his behavior. And the way they do that is like, what's the quickest route? What is the shortcut to make sure that the audience won't turn on the hero? Have him hit a woman.
Well, you know, I think Andrew Tate is one of the few people in the world who's okay with being the villain in the narrative. And, you know, I don't find it that hard to believe that he sent these text messages.
I blame book talk.
The thing is, I don't believe that he even necessarily behaves this way in person. He's like hiding behind the phone, behind the sex messages.
Oh, I don't. I believe.
Saying all this stuff to seem like cool and tough and shad and whatever, which would like immediately just like make me cringe into oblivion. But apparently she didn't, you know, immediately pick up on how inauthentic and fake that is. But you know, it's not. The reason I lend credence to the existence of a relationship like this is because of like times when I've talked to other women about like relationships they had that like didn't work out. So I'm not going to go into any detail whatsoever, but I was talking to a female friend about a relationship she had that ended. And she said all this stuff about this guy that she seemed to realize was so cringy about him only after the breakup. Like, during the relationship, she just totally turned a blind eye, didn't, you know, I was hearing all this and I was like, I would have like ghosted this guy like a billion years ago. So he was saying like, oh yeah, like I idolize Patrick Bateman. he was saying to her that he like idolizes Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. And that
he was like, it's literally me.
And he was saying things to her like, you know, you need to dress this certain way around me so that people know that you're like on my level and stuff like that. And it's like, just stuff like that should give you an immediate like repulse factor.
Did the guy have a lot of money?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, he pretended to.
He was,
from what I understand,
he was aspirational in his cringiness.
I know. And then he's acting like, you know, she's not on his level, but for some reason she believes what he's saying. And then after it's over and she has time to reflect on everything cringy that he ever said, now she realizes that she should have ended it a long time ago.
I mean, the other side of that argument is that there tends to also be good things about some people that then cloud it. I mean, obviously, we're not saying that with Andrew Tate, but we're saying that with like
a normal
if it's a normal
guy.
dude who's just cringy, he's probably also had qualities that she liked, which masked how she felt about those things. And now after things fall apart, she's negative in her connotation, so that stuff comes across even worse than it would have when you don't have that same kind of predisposition to being annoyed by them.
Well, I see it as an act of kindness to call someone out on being cringe and call someone out on their bullshit. So like, had I been in that situation, I'd be like, you idolize Patrick Bateman? Like, what does that even mean? You're like literally a 22-year-old who spends his daddy's money. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And when you're just real and you can just say things like that, people will have more respect for you, and they would probably end up having more respect for themselves and not say stupid shit like that anymore. So that's why when I read the text screenshots, I was like, yeah, he probably said that. There was another one where Andrew Tate allegedly says, I really love hitting you. It's very good for me and you. It's relaxing, don't you think?
Again, it feels very over the top.
She also says he texted her more recently to say, if you ever betray me, you will regret it. He has told me on many occasions before that if I crossed him, he would ruin my life, R-word me, or K me. I would love to see evidence of that as well.
Yeah.
The threats. But yeah, she goes on, I know I can't be silent. I have to make my voice heard, blah, 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 blah. And provided more photos of what she thinks prove violence against her, but I don't see any marks or any blood or any bruise in these photos.
Yeah.
It just looks like smudged makeup to me.
I don't know if any of it's true. I can't say that for sure, but I do know that getting involved with someone like this was always going to likely lead to a situation, unfortunately.
I don't think there's really any reason to lend credence to her claims. But this is the thing. If she's making all this up or contriving all of this, then she's just going to make sure all the other claims against Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have zero credibility.
Yeah.
So again, if it's a fake Me Too claim, you're throwing everyone else with perhaps a valid claim under the bus.
Yeah.
Once again. And this is just the cycle continues. I can't believe we're still doing this.
I mean, people are inherently that's if we're assuming that she's lying, and I can't know. But if people are inherently self-interested, so if she's making it up for her own benefit, she's not thinking about the consequences of her actions. If she's telling the truth, then that's not what's going on here.
I don't even think she's like lying. I think she's just saying like, I was in a relationship with a shitty guy who treated me shittily. And then expecting the police to do something about it. She is lying to herself at the same time that she is lying to everybody else.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.